Ah, my mic's muted. Okay. Let's go. I have considered the defense counsel's request for further examination of the jury, and I have determined that the court must upload the defense's judicial rights to this procedure. So, counsel, you will proceed with your second examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman? We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you to now state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might consider. Even the woman was throwing books. It could be related to this crime if the window was closed, can't it? Dearie me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home pay tonight, I'll be in a tidy bit of trouble. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes. Yes. More tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems. With one notable exception, of course. My learned friend was unable to find the fault in the previous witness's testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. And, moreover, no one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it can be argued any other way. That means I'm afraid that during this examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But how? What would even constitute as tangible explanation here? Isn't it obvious? Who stabbed the woman, and how? Those 2 details are all need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. And there I was, thinking this might be hard. But, Mr. Narundo, you have to do it. Otherwise, this really will be where the trial ends. No pressure, then. That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summonation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, Kunsel? Oh, yes, my lord. All right, Ryunosuke. Focus your mind now. Clearly, The key to this summonation examination is going to be drawer number 4, the maid, or should I say Mrs. Garydeb. We have a book that disappeared from the Garydeb's house on the evening of the incident, and the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes. Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garydeb and how she reacts, even to the things other people say. The defense's rebuttal. Accused left behind the evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books.
Hold it!
But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3. Well, what difference does it make? There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord. Yes, that's the part I have a problem with. Sorry. Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrap with his wife, or something you said. That's not exactly how I put it, no. Well, anyway, the point is the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened. I think that's what you call a strong alibi. So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this Pavalier's about. It's a done deal, isn't it? I suppose it is, since I've nothing witty left to say.
Hold it!
So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Oh my, such a light on your face. But I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you may think of me, I am a very modern metropolitan and rational woman. That's great. If one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? You see, modern metropolitan and rational thinking, wouldn't you say? And not at all extreme. As I see it, an overwhelming suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelming strong testimony. So despite one or two minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say? Overwhelmingly. But us modern gals are always delighted to embrace new fads, you know. So, I'd only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you could come up with one. I'd be happy to do that too, if I could. Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern metropolitan young lady. Right. I'm glad you omitted the rational there. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? But what about the possibility that the window is open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. How can you be so sure? The prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Witnesses in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, you see. But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. Then what's the point of even having windows, huh? Contel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering. Oh, sorry. Somehow, I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window is open. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise. Dearie me. It's only a little book, hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? With flames of love, I'll have you know. There's really no such thing as a loving inquiry bomb. Whoa. Well, he brought it upon himself. It's playing with fire to betray a fiery love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree? Oh, well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garydeb. Never mind that. The point is, we were having a jovial little dispute over nothing more. And I won't have any more of these suggestions that there was anything whatsoever to do with this crime. Right. Well, we'll see about that. But what about juror number 5? He doesn't seem to be turning a hair at Mrs. Garydeb's relentless onslaughts. It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring some pain tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble.
Hold it!
You just want to get this over with. How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. Well, him and me are both then, like I said before. What? I told you already. I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames tomorrow morning. What? You heard me? My missus isn't one to mess about, you know? She can be fierce, believe you me. Another shining example of martial bliss, then. A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember. Sorry. It was too frightening. That's the thing. I must have blocked it out. Helpful. I wonder if Mr. Betty will ever be dragged into the Thames by a scarf. Don't even go there, Mrs. Sato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. Come to think of it, we had fire at home a while ago. It gives me the sneezes. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case?
Sorry? What was that? You'll have to speak up, lad.
Could you tell us more about that fire?
It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top, it did. What a sight to behold it was.
You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship? I'm guessing it's not a common tradition to put candles on a cake in Japan, I guess?
Of course not. It was angel cake. To celebrate my birthday, obviously.
It seems that it's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhondo.
Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow them out. Only, I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke.
Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold. But how did you catch a cold from a fire?
What a fiasco it was. The grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, we had to open all the windows to clear it.
The windows.
The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did. I caught a terrible cold from it. It put me in hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry.
I knew it was devil worship all along. Something about that old man's story is playing on my mind for some reason. We need to demonstrate who apart from Mr. Natsumi could... Sorry. Why am I so tired? We need to demonstrate who apart from Mr. Natsumi could have attacked the young woman on the street. As well as how he or she could have done it. Yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. I think you're going to need to pit them against each other to force them to accept an alternative explanation. Yes. I don't necessarily need to find contradictions between their assertions. Just the connection. Just the connection might do the trick. Alright, I'll see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go in for a strike. That's the spirit. There's definitely this one. Winter house fires are dire. You need to open windows to clear the smoke. That's when the chill gets you see? Okay. And then, even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the windows were closed, can it?
Objection!
Those two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another. I do? How exactly, Gonzo?
Don't point at me again! I told you it wasn't me!
What's that you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up.
Drawer number 3. Do you see?
Help me?
See what, sir? Did you hear drawer number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter.
Well, yes, because it was an emergency.
I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from fire, then you'd be mad not to open the...
Oh!
Exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garydeb's household. And Mr. Garydeb had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke.
Oh my.
My head. Excuse me. Drawer number 4. Do you have something to say about that? Mrs. Garydeb.
Oh, dear me. What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am?
It's imperative that you confirm something for the court. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now.
What is it?
When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window?
What? I beg your pardon? What are you insinuating?
The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window.
And what if I did? Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering.
Even though your house was on fire.
No, you never stop flowing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise.
Of course, I should have realized. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Narhondo. You've managed to establish the window was open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Garydeb's formal statement. All right, nice. Now that you mention it, yes, the window was open at the time. I clean forgotten, but it's true. The window could have been open when the woman was throwing books. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. Now you mention it, yes, the window was open at the time I'd clean forgotten, but it's true, okay.
Objection! Hold it!
Okay. It's not those two. fourth book found at the scene of the crime shows very obvious signs of the fire damage. And in the title of the book is The Lion's Pride. The same title, in fact, as the book that Mr. Garrideb told us he had been reading. Well, I really couldn't say. On the day in question, did you or did you not throw at your husband the copy of The Lion's Pride that he had been reading? I did. It was the first thing I could lay my hands on, so I hurled it straight at him. And now you come to mention it, yes. He was rather enjoying reading it, you're right. Why did you not reveal this information to the court from the outset? Because I couldn't, you insolent little man. I didn't remember. Times like that, you pick up and throw whatever you can lay your hands on, as well as you know. I really don't. I barely noticed I was throwing a book, much less the title of it. Excuse me. What is it, drawer number 5? You know something. I remembered what it was, that memory I've blocked out. Ah? It was listening to what this Granny was saying. Brought it all flooding back. Who are you calling Granny, you cheeky devil? I'm Mrs. Garrideb, or the maid, I'll have you know. The man doesn't even flinch. Please tell me that's not because he's so used to being hit all the time.
It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back home from after work, like. I put my hand in my pocket for the wages, and it just earned that day, and I nearly died. There was a hole. Every last penny I dropped out.
Oh dear, what a disaster.
You haven't heard the half of it, boy.
Oh?
The wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I could hardly get the words out, but I told her straight, I lost a day's wages, love. Next thing I knew, the blade was whistling past my ear, stuck into the wall next to me. It did, about an inch deep.
No words, just terror.
I could smell it then. You know, that god-awful stench of the flames. I was sure I was going to end up face down in the muddy banks that night, I can tell you. Now that's a real disaster, isn't it?
I'll never use the word lightly again.
Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When women lose their rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it.
Mr. Narhondo, you mustn't think that all women are so short-tempered and unrefined. No, I wasn't thinking that. Throwing household objects at people is, well, it's so uncivilized. At least attack with honor, using a bow, or like... What, attack? Who are you going to attack? Never mind. Anyway, this man's words could be rather significant, I think. All right, we'll come back to the bow and arrow thing later if I dare. Rage. Anything You, the kitchen knife. Kitchen knife really brought that home to me. Now you mention it.
Objection!
Okay. Hmm. The window could have been open when the woman was throwing books. Could have been open when the woman was throwing books. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. If there was some novel alternative explanation about the victim, that the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Holy sh! No way!
Objection!
Those two statements clearly have a deeply significant connection.
Good grief. You mean they don't contradict each other? Explain, Cancel, at once.
Juror number 2, do you think perhaps this could be one such novel alternative? Oh my, whatever do you mean? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back.
What are you talking about?
We've demonstrated that the fourth book, The Lion's Pride, was found at the scene of the crime. Originated in Mr. Garrett's room on the top floor of his house. Therefore, it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garrett's household to the street below.
What's that now?
After all, Mrs. Garrett could have thrown any number of different objects at her husband. Isn't that right, juror number 4? What are you insinuating now? You little beanpole. I'm beginning to think that ever since the true origins of the book came to light, perhaps she's had a feeling that this might be what happened.
Now you listen here, you Easton Geller. As the foreman of the jury, I demand a straight answer. You give us this yarn about some other object making its way out of the house, but what? What was it?
I'm really taking a big gamble here. That was a bold accusation to make, but I haven't any real evidence to back it up. But I'm certain that at the very least, this warrants a further investigation. Alright, Mr. Foreman. I'll try to explain the defense's theory. The other object that found its way from the Gary Depp household to the scene of the crime was... Oh, whoops.
Take that!
Juror number 4, Mrs. Gadab. What? What now? I must apologize in advance for this. But I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before?
Good Lord, Cancel, what on earth are you doing? That's the weapon that was lodged into the victim's back, man.
Oh, the story's getting interesting. My lord, remember that when the victim was attacked, Mr. and Mrs. Gadab were in the throes of an argument. Mrs. Gadab was hurling anything she could at her husband, who'd been backed up against the window. A window that had been opened to clear the smoke, and for which the book sailed to land at the crime scene.
You can't seriously believe that? The book was found in the victim's grasp.
Are you saying that it flew out of the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand?
Huh. Even my missus hasn't got aim like that.
Yes, I admit there are many details we don't yet understand. But that's the point. That's precisely why we must not allow this trial to end. Not right now. Oh my. Mrs. Gadab, your answer, please. Have you seen this knife before or not? Oh, My lord? I wish to change my decision. I'm a woman of my word after all. Thank you, madame.
Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but
I just don't think it would to be right for this trial to continue to an end now with so many unanswered questions. Mr. Foreman!
I'd have to agree. Not that I think the granny did it to mind.
Yes, you know what? I'm quite happy about this at the moment either.
All together now, ladies and gents.
Nice. We did it! Oh, congratulations, Mr. Narhondo.
So, as a result of the defense's summonation examination, a number of jurors leaning have changed. 2 jurors called guilty against 4 now calling innocent. Accordingly, the opinion of this court is divided. And this trial will continue. Now then, Lord Van Zix, how does the prosecution wish to proceed?
This trial is rapidly descending into a farce. Like a corked wine, the first few sips are bitter enough. But what follows is so repugnant, it's good for nothing, save the glutter. If I may, Lord Van Zix. The defense has just put forward a credible alternative explanation for what happened. Credible? Is that your considered opinion, Mr. Foreman? The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond. But let me start by insinuating that you must all familiarize yourselves better with with the relative possibilities, relative positions of those places being discussed. What do you mean by that? What's his angle this time? It should already be more than apparent that between the crime scene, the Garrett household, runs a rather wide street, Briar Road, which means that the distance from the Garrett house to the scene is some, yes, 15 yards. Let me see, 15 yards, that's around 14 meters. 14 meters? Oh, that's a little farther than I imagined. And as you ladies and gentlemen of the jury rightfully noted, as having portraying a significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering book wantonly hurled by the lady of the house traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? And did you jack a knife? And did the jackknife follow a near identical trajectory to plunge into the middle of the victim's back? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim, I think. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. There's nothing I can say to that. That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Mr. Sato, serialized detective stories are pathetic, are they? How dare he? Maybe let's pick our battles here. My lord, might I be allowed to speak?
As judicial assistant, you may speak for the defense. Yes, go ahead.
The prosecution may consider the idea of a fantasy, but what the defense has postulated was believable enough to persuade the jury to change its leaning. And as such, the court has a duty to explore this alternative explanation as thoroughly as possible. To that end, juror number 4, Mrs. John Garrett, must be called to testify and submit to cross-examination.
Saints alive! A cross-examination of a juror? Order! 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 Well, this is highly irregular. It is unprecedented for a member of the jury to be summoned to the witness stand.
Objection!
Okay, dude. And unnecessary.
Lord Van Zix?
There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. If my learned friend's theatrical theory has any truth in it, the truth, then both a burning book and a jackknife must have flown through the sky before its couple's eyes. And we must assume they would be able to testify accordingly.
What say you, witness? Yes, sir. Constable Raleigh, Bate, reporting for duty, sir.
Well,
Good morning, officer. Sorry for dozing until now, sir. I haven't slept for a month on account of a villain who's appeared on my beat, sir.
oh, you're so heroic, these London bobbies.
Patricia, my darling, I've been neglecting you, but no more.
Oh, Raleigh, my hero. You make me swoon.
Very well. I hereby reject the defense's request.
Oh,
And order the witnesses in stand to testify again. State forthwith before the court any details pertaining to the defense's alternative explanation of events. Yes, sir.
alright, I think we're nearing the end.
This case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Gaddab, believe me. A London bobby is good for his word. You see, sir, the windows on the top floor of the Gaddab house are top hinged casements.
Obviously, if anything had been thrown out of the window, we would have seen. I did leave the scene to go and fetch help, but my trusty Raleigh was there to make sure nothing was disturbed.
I didn't take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report on that front, sir. Well, this is quite startling. Top hinged casement windows.
That detail was not in the police report. Constable.
Yes. Sorry about that. I must have been a little drowsy.
You cannot excuse your sins with drowsiness every time, Constable.
No, sir.
Sorry, but what exactly is a top hinged casement window? And you cannot excuse your ignorance with such trite remarks, my learned friend. Of course, sorry. I found it, Mr. Narhondo. Cast your mind back to the windows in Mr. and Mrs. Garrett's room. All right, I'll try. So the windows opens in order to allow the air to circulate inside the house. But as it's a top hinged casement window, it swings open along the upper edge, you see. I'm glad you've rectified your ignorance. A casement window's most prominent feature. Okay, sorry. I'm just looking at the time right now. Is its stay a metal bar which prevents the window from being opened beyond a certain amount? It prevents its opening. This is news to me.
Absolutely correct, sir. In other words, if the book or knife would happen to be thrown through the window, it would have clattered against the pane and fallen straight down to the pavement below.
No. You see the problem then? Good. Your education in Windows is complete. Ah, but I'm pretty sure there was a crack in those windows, to be honest, if I remember correctly. There was never any possibility of either of the book or the knife traveling 15 yards over the road. That is, unless the window pane had been shattered, something we've discounted already. But it was shattered, is the thing. It can't be! Did you see that, Rolly? That young Japanese man just collapsed in agony.
Ah, yes, my darling, I saw it. I saw how he crumbled before me.
Oh, Rolly, you're so strong. How is this happening? I haven't even started the cross-examination yet, and already my argument's been destroyed.
Good so. You could drag yourself upright again. The court awaits your cross-examination.
My lord. Oh, good. Another desperate situation. Alright. This court has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett-Ebbs. Mrs. and Mr. Garrett-Ebb, believe me. A London Bobby is good for his
Hold it!
How can you say for certain?
Very good question, sir. And the answer is this. It has a noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all policemen of the sworn duty.
He showed us this before, didn't he? Did he? I can't say I remember.
To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man it's what the job's all about. That's why I can't stand here today beside my long-suffering wife and tell you Bobby's good for his word, while rubbing my tired eyes immediately, sir.
Oh, Rolly, you're so manly.
Of course I am, my darling Patricia. Oh, Pat.
Oh, Rolly. No, none of this is what I meant. I meant how can you for certain that this case has nothing to do with Mr. and Mrs. Garrett-Ebb?
Ah, I see, sir. You should have said so earlier, sir.
Yes, well... So, could you answer the question? That was a waste of time then?
Absolutely, sir. I will answer it to the fullest of my ability, sir. There's a surprising reason why Mr. and Mr. Garrett-Ebb's domestic dispute could be related to this case. But before I get into that, sir, there's one thing.
Yes?
I very much like you all to be I'd very much like you and all your countrymen to understand that Great British intuition of Scotland Yard. So I hope you'll take back some tales of us London bobbies and how we hold up bobbies and how we uphold our guiding principles.
I wasn't planning on going back just yet. I've only just arrived here.
So, to that end, sir, I'd be happy to lend you my warrant card for your per usual. But I must warn you, You won't be able to get through it without shedding a few tears.
Thank you. I'll try. Oh, okay. Small folding wallet that that identifies London Bobbies and contains the rules. Contains the rules of conduct to which they must adhere. Okay, I'm guessing we should probably use that to contradict them. So what does it say? Item number 1. A policeman will strive to preserve the peace within his allotted beat. Item number 2. Patrolling officer is expected to walk 20 miles around his beat every day for the furtherance of community relations. Item number 1. Any crimes fall under jurisdiction of the beat in which they are discovered. Item number 2. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Huh. Seaside, the windows on the top floor. Obviously, if anything, I had been thrown out. I would have seen it. I did take my eye off the crime scene for one moment, sir. No, nothing strange to report on that front. Okay. Didn't take your eyes off it.
Objection!
Okay, no. I'm so sorry, Mr. Narhondo. I had no right to speak out. What do you mean? I requested the cross-examination of Mrs. Scarydips without consulting you. Even if the judge did deny me. Oh, I see. Well, I agree with you. We do need testimony from Mrs. Scaredip. If we're ever going to get to the truth of this matter. Do you really think so? Well, think about it. No matter how far it is across the road, or how the window opens, Mr. Gerard's book found its way to the scene of the crime somehow, didn't it? You're right. And then there was Mrs. Gerard's reaction to me showing her the knife. The woman's hiding something. I'm sure of it. You're right again. We need to use this cross-examination to uncover more clues. Get to the bottom of this one way or another, I swear. Yes.
Hold it!
By which you mean they don't open fully, is that correct?
Yes, sir. they're just there to they're just there to allow a bit of air to swallow through the house. You see, so they're restricted as to how much they open, and therefore anything thrown out the window from inside the room would simply strike the pane and fall to the street directly below. For clarity, allow me to mark the map. Here is the location where the objects would have fallen. Yes. Directly opposite of the crime scene. Directly opposite of the scene of the crime on the other side of the rather wide road. Would it have been so hard for somebody to mention this top hinged casement thing before? Well, I have another question for you, Constable. What would that be, sir? How do you even know? Why would you have any idea of what any sort of windows Mr. and Mrs. Gardepp's house is furnished with? Well, sir, that's very simple. You see, I helped with the investigation yesterday.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mrs. Beat? Sorry. You look well delighted. Is there some particular reason for that? I was just remembering, that's all. We were really, well, we really were so lucky. Lucky? What do you mean? Well, of course, I feel terrible. I feel terrible for the poor woman who was attacked. Don't misunderstand me, please. But we were just so lucky it didn't happen on Raleigh's beat. It was so close, you see. Oh, I hadn't realized. Oh, yes, at Street Railroad. That's the boundary between Raleigh's beat and the next one. Wait a minute. Isn't that right, my love? Constable Beat. Yes, that's right. That's the reason I was helping out with interviewing the occupants of the Gardepp's household yesterday. The household is on my beat, you see, sir. That really was cutting it close then. Constable, I wonder if you could clarify something. If the Gardepp household on your beat is on your beat, does that mean that the pavement next to it is as well? Aside Mr. Gardepp's house? Yes, ma'am. The pavement on that side of the road is part of my beat. I see. I was unaware of that. Just think of the woman who had been attacked just on the other side of the Bay Road. Would have never been able to go for that meal to celebrate our wedding anniversary. But that's the life of a Bobby, after all. Extraordinary people are Bobbies. Tirelessly working for the benefit of all Londoners. Do you know what I think? I think it was good that. I think it was the good Lord's way of awarding my Raleigh for all his hard work. Don't you think so, my darling? That must be it.
That must be it, Pat, my love. That must be it.
I think perhaps we should make sure we have that information officially on record. Leave it to me, Mr. Naruhondo. I'll take care of it immediately. Case files of information. The pavement where the victim was found lies outside Constable Beat's beat, the border of which runs down the middle of Brer Road. My head hurts just from reading that. Okay. And now it's my turn, I think. Honestly, if anything had been thrown out the window, we would have seen it.
Hold it!
But according to my note here, the sun had gone down already, and it was dark. But Rolly and I were strolling along gazing at the night sky and looking for our lucky star. Sorry. A star that will guide us to eternal happiness. Can't it guide you to the answer the question?
The Fleming book had cut across the sky in front of us. It would have lit up like a shooting star.
And if we'd seen a shooting star, I would have made a wish upon it. Let Raleigh be an inspector. I would have said 3 times at least.
Of course. What with that smog and everything, we couldn't actually see any stars.
In short, are you trying to say that neither a book nor a knife crossed the sky before you?
Yes, sir. That is correct, sir. As sure as the night sky in London's starless. Sky in London is starless, sir.
It certainly seems like they're telling the truth. And then we saw the poor woman fall on the ground, so we ran straight over to help her.
Hold it!
Yes, you said you went to a nearby police box to fetch another officer, is that right? That's right, yes. If it had been on Raleigh's beat, I would have known exactly where I was going, of course.
Don't feel bad, my love. You can't be expected to know the can't be expected to know the location of every police box on every beat.
Sir, Raleigh told me the way. Only, I sort of got a little lost on the way.
Tracy, my darling, that's why I love you. Your terrible sense of direction is bewitching to me. Oh, Pat.
Oh, Raleigh.
Oh, please.
So, I suppose I was gone for about 15 minutes. But like I said, my Raleigh was at the scene the whole time making the whole time making sure nothing was disturbed.
I was off duty at the time, of course. But a true Bobby is never really off duty, sir.
Hold it!
Nothing to report.
That's correct, sir. I had my eyes wide open the entire time. Never looked away for a second. No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. I could swear to that on the yard's honor, sir.
Really? That seems a little strange.
Beg your pardon, sir. Strange, sir. Seems altogether regular to me.
This burnt copy of the Lion's Pride was originally in the Gardeep household. So the question remains, how did it find its way into the hand of the victim? Can you shed any light on that, seeing as you were at the scene of the crime the entire time?
Aha! Could it be a different copy, sir? One that just happened to be burnt as well.
Even if that were possible, why would the victim have been gripping a book like that in her hand? As you can see from the photograph print, she had a bag over her shoulder.
Well, sir, the book was in the lady's hand from the moment we arrived at the scene.
Is that so? There's something about this statement that's not sitting right with me. The two mysteries of how the knife ended up in her back, and how that book ended up in her hand. There must be some common thread between them. Okay. Can I ask you something, please, Mr. Lawyer, sir? Oh, yes, of course. What is it? You're doubting us, aren't you? I can tell. What? I wasn't really. I mean, what's she doing? Please, just because I'm a woman, it doesn't make it doesn't make my testimony any less valuable. You might just see me as the wife of a policeman, but I'm a woman of my word. I am. I really don't remember ever suggesting that. I doubted you. No excuses. I don't want to hear it. My voice will be heard. My lord, you let me speak, weren't you?
Yes, Mrs. Speed. I will allow you to supplement your testimony if you desire. Sometimes the path of least resistance is the sage of one.
That was a very loud mutter. I heard that! That Japanese man thinks a policeman's word counts for nothing, does he? But watch out, sir. I might let you get away with something like that, but my Raleigh won't. Duly noted, Miss Beats. Please, I humbly ask you to continue. What could she possibly be about to say, I wonder? I know what I saw. My eyes never let me down. My sense of direction is a little off sometimes, though.
Hold it!
What are you getting at? Mrs. Bates, nobody's questioning what you've told us. I saw it. That evening, I saw it clearly. That little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back. Sorry, excuse me 1 minute. Okay, I've returned. A little Eastern man with the whiskers and the funny curved back, slinking away from the scene. And I know that what I didn't see as well. I didn't see any flaming books or knives flying through the sky. All very clear. You also mentioned something about having a poor sense of direction. Oh, yes, well, that's a little embarrassing, really. I'm always ending up in the wrong place when I've made arrangements to meet Raleigh. He gets ever so cross.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Constable Bate, is there a problem?
No, sir. No problem, sir.
Did your wife's remark just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
Well, in a way, sir. Yes, sir. I I was just remembering that the same thing happened that evening is all.
You mean Miss Beat lost her way on the night of the incident?
You see, I sent her off to find a police box in the next beat over for mine. But she was gone a fair bit longer than I was expecting. I thought she'd be back in 10 minutes, but my darling was gone. My darling was gone a good 15 minutes.
Oh, Raleigh, you're such a tease. But the reason I was gone long was because the bouquet, silly.
Okay.
Sorry, the bouquet. Are you talking about? No, it was a present for our wedding anniversary. Raleigh's so romantic. He saved up for it with farthings and halfpennies he found in the gutter while doing his rounds. Yes, how romantic. I'd forgotten all about it until just now. Had you, my darling?
Yes. But that was just between us. No talking about it to anyone else, darling. You have to promise.
Really? Oh. What is that all about? Constable Beat looked very obviously troubled during that exchange. I'm afraid I can't offer any useful insight, Mr. Naruhondo. But I'm quite sure of one thing. We had to ask Mrs. Beat about the bouquet. Mrs. Beat, this bouquet you just mentioned, I'd like you to add details about it to your testimony, please. Oh, really? I'd love to. What happened was I dropped my bouquet and ended up losing my way for a while. Lost your bouquet.
Hold it!
I'm not sensing any contradictions yet. You mean you dropped the bouquet at the scene of the crime? Yes, that's right. Oh, I was so upset. When we ran over and saw it was a woman with a knife in her back. I was so shocked, I dropped the bouquet Brother gave me. It was in a dark spot where the street lights weren't casting any light, so I didn't notice it at first. And then you went to the police box to report it to the policeman whose beat it was on. Yes, and I came back to the scene together with the other constable, you see. That's when I spotted my bouquet again. But the funny thing was, when I went to pick it up, it was nowhere near the victim's body at all. In case you need reminding, Miss Beat, the victim is not deceased. I was all flustered for a moment before I heard a voice calling me from the other side of the road. Your husband, presumably? That's right, silly me. I'd gone over to the wrong side of the street. Though I'm going to blame the bouquet this time. Can't think of it. I can't think of how it got there. I really can't. So the bouquet somehow moved from one side of Bear Road to the opposite,
Curious indeed.
Isn't it? But the worst of it is, I forgot to pick the bouquet up again when we left the scene. The beautiful rose Raleigh bought me. With that change from the cutter he spent so long collecting.
By bouquet, do you perhaps mean this solitary rose?
Oh, yes, that's it. That's the bouquet Raleigh bought for me for our anniversary, with old bits of change I found in the gutter. Maybe just call it a rose.
Tell us, Lord Van Zix, where did you come by the flower? According to the report by the police officer in charge of the crime scene investigation, it was found on the edge of the pavement of the in front of the Great Ace household.
In front of the Great Ace household?
Although it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light. It was believed to be of no relevance to the case since it was found on the opposite side of on the fourth air.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Could I have it back now, please?
No, I think for good measure, this rose should be added to the court's record as evidence.
Oh. A present for Patricia from her husband Raleigh. The shock of seeing the stabbed victim caused Mrs. B to drop the rose where she stood. What? It's a symbol of our love. I want it back after the trial. Do you hear me? I want it back.
Good grief. Rest assured that I shall do my very best not to forget, Mrs. Bede.
Didn't take my eyes off the crime for one moment, sir. Nothing strange to report, sir. What am I not getting? Didn't take his eye off the crime. And now we've looped back to this.
Objection!
You claim, Constable Beat, there was nothing to report in 15 or so minutes. You were in 50 minutes or so. In the 50 minutes or so you were guarding the scene. But that cannot be. What? What do you mean to say? In your testimony just now, Mrs. Beat, you explained to the court that when you arrived back at the scene of the crime with the policemen assigned to that beat, the bouquet you had dropped at the victim's side was no longer anywhere nearby.
Objection!
Yes, on the opposite side of their road to where the victim was attacked. But considering the size of the merged bouquet of a single sorry bloom can be described. No doubt it was blown in the wind across the street, back into the gutter where it belongs. Merge?
Objection!
But if that were the case, why did Constable Beat not testify to the fact? No one else approached the scene and nothing was removed from it. Constable Beats swore that on Scotland Yard's honor. But the bouquet belonged to me. It was nothing to do with the case. That's why Raleigh didn't mention it, I'm sure. No, because sadly, it's not only your bouquet we're talking about here. More than one thing in this case is mysteriously the wrong way round. What are you talking about? Think about it. Besides Mrs. Beats' bouquet, there's Mr. Garedeb's book. Mr. Garedeb's copy of The Lion's Pride, which was thrown out of the window by his wife, would have stuck the pane of the casement window and landed here on the west side of the street. And yet, it was actually found on the opposite side of the road in the victim's hand. Meanwhile, according to the testimony we've heard, Mrs. Beats' bouquet should have been dropped here at the scene of the crime on the east side of the street. But in fact, it was actually found here on the opposite side of the road in front of Mr. and Mrs. Garedeb's house. There's no logical explanation for these things, unless somebody deliberately moved them. What are you trying to say? The way you're talking, it sounds like you think my Raleigh's done something wrong. Don't you listen to a word that scrawny lawyer says? Writing on about books and bouquets. Why should we care? It's nitpicking that's what it is. Oh, good. Mrs. Garedeb's come around. You might call it nitpicking, Mrs. Garedeb. But deliberately meddling with the scene of the crime is a criminal offense. It's called, tampering, Mr. Narhondo. But the person responsible for this tampering cannot admit to it, for a very suitable but compelling reason.
Objection!
Wait a minute. Huh? Am I getting something? Tampering. You've barely heard the term before. Tell us, my learned friend, who would possibly have had cause to carry out such an elaborate deception? Yes, there is someone who tampered with the scene of the crime that evening. All the evidence and all testimony points to that one particular person. Zell, must the man that you subdesigned this conjure. Who are you saying is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime? The only person who was there.
Take that!
Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Raleigh Bate, it was you! What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard? What nonsense! Why would my Raleigh do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. No, Bobby works more tirelessly for the people of London. Mrs. Speed, you said it in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to the nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 50 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it. You're making it up. It's all nonsense. It's all lies. What about that Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him. He did it.
Objection.
If that was true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it. Oh? And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Miss Speed, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Well...
Objection.
First, you make accusations about the landlord and his wife, and now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one very important thing.
Okay, I'm back. My controller's not connected. Okay, there we go. You claim that the crime scene was tampered with. There, where did I place it? There's only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless commit such a reckless crime to hide something. That's right. He's right. Is it even moving on my stream? Yeah, no, it's not. Okay. But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all. So why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense. You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. And until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Shit. Sorry. Alright. Constable Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair. So Narundo, have you managed to solve this mystery?
Cancel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I am sure I need not to point out that your reputation as well as a lawyer will be inconceivably damaged. With that stock warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering.
Yes, my lord. Constable Beat's motive for tampering with the crime scene was to hide where the book fell, where the bouquet fell, where the victim fell. Where the bouquet fell? I don't think he would care about the book or the... Where the bouquet fell. where the bouquet fell to the ground. That's what he had to cover up at all costs. And why, exactly? Oh, well, of course, the reason is, You have something to hide, my learned friend. For it seems you're unwilling to share the reason with the court. Or could it be perhaps that no reason exists? Maybe there's a detail missing within the rose. Oh yeah, I can get rid of that pinned message now. An English rose? It's such a beautiful flower. This is a rose, is it? I've never seen one before. Do you not take an interest in flowers, Mr. Narhondo? I wouldn't say that exactly, but I do know 3 types at least. Gosh, 3? Yes, plum, blossom, peach blossom, and cherry blossom. Perhaps you should consider branching out, learning some that aren't fruit tree based, for example. It's covered in newspaper. It's a very stylish paper. The flower's wrapped in it, isn't it? It's just old newspaper, Mr. Narhondo. Oh, I suppose it's because I'm not used to seeing English print. It looks so exotic to me. Ah, I see. Is something wrong? Oh, no. I was just thinking that if you wrapped a stone-baked sweet potato in English newspaper, it might look like some sort of fancy cake. Susato-san, you do love your cakes. Okay, I got nothing from that. Where the book fell? It had to be then. It's definitely not the victim. Where the book fell on the ground. That's what he had to cover up at all costs. And why exactly? Oh, well, of course, the reason is, Really? Where the victim fell? My head's not piecing it together. It's a weird jigsaw puzzle. Where the victim fell. Where the victim fell to the ground. That is the Bobby had to cover up at all costs. What? Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you that at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of the railroad, we saw it happen. Remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, That isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What?
I'm begging to wonder where the tremendous trial will end, Console.
If that's your assertion, then the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening? Directly on the road? That or on the pavement. I'm gonna go with the pavement.
Take that!
But that's...
On the opposite side of the road. I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Garrett's books fell directly down from the open window above. And your bouquet, Mrs. Pitt, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself.
Good gracious!
Objection!
Perhaps you haven't been listening to my ample testimony the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place. That's right. I saw it with my own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was the typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Brer Road. No, it's not true. It can't have been. Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in the print, the victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Brer Road. Extraordinary. But the constable overlooked one thing. What? What did he overlook? The bouquet, I presume. Exactly. The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose. Lord Van Six said it wasn't noticed until the morning as it lay where the street lamps cast no light.
Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously.
Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in the original position on the pavement on the west side of Brer Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond? Constable Raleigh Bates?
Well, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important?
Oh, Raleigh. It isn't true, is it? What that lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know.
I had a dream. Terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed.
Huh?
Only it seems it wasn't a dream at all. Good golly! Order! What on earth is the meaning of all this?
Oh, Raleigh, why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it? And wishing the victim dead should be one, too.
Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this? As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London Town. I can't say, sir. What? I really am ever so sorry about all this. For damaging the Yard's reputation. For everything.
I have a possible explanation for why on that particular evening, Constable Pete felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason.
What? How could you possibly? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman. And yet, Lord Van Zix, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel, for the defense, if you please.
Yes, my lord.
Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence.
At once, my lord. England, Japan, it makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. What gives away the motive for the Constable Beat's unthinkable actions? What gives away the motive? Present for Patricia from her husband, Raleigh. The shock of seeing the stabbed victim, Mrs. Beat, caused Mrs. Beat to drop the rose where she stood. What am I not understanding? The assailant was seen running away by the reporting officer and was successfully arrested the following day. Okay. A small folding wallet that identifies London Bobbies and contains the rules of conduct to which they must adhere. motivation? What was his motivation? Maybe. I don't know what it is. There's no way it's the anniversary of the cat, right? I realize that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I've only just arrived from Japan, which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that through honorable patrolling, the beat is the most demanding work in the world. For example. You mean the place looking after the citizens on his beat in all kinds of ways. There's no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly. But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special. Special how? On account of this bouquet, my lord. Oh yes, it was our very first wedding anniversary. Constable Pete had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was so looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal. When he and Miss Bates stumbled upon the crime along Briar Road. He saw the shadowy figure through the fog. Fog collapsed on the pavement ahead of them. What must have gone through the man's mind? But sir, just that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrate my wedding anniversary. Mrs. B puts up with a lot being married to a Bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Aha! Constable Beat. Is that or is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day? Yes. Everything you said, it's alright. So, that's it. It was all to do with the boundary of your beat. Oh! Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat. Good gracious! Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you've done? It was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer.
We've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then, it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight or all nights? Why? It's a copper's job to guard the scene of crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then where I opened my mouth to speak. It just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you'll have to go to the police box that covers it. Turn right along Mitchcombe Street, and then. Damn. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Constable,
I just wanted just that one night. I take my Patricia out for dinner.
Raleigh.
Just one night.
You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so, you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction. Just across the street to the east pavement of Rare Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care.
You see, I thought, well, I was sure that the victim was dead, you see. I beg your pardon?
Oh, of course he did. Otherwise, my Raleigh would never have left the poor woman freezing cold on the pavement.
Ah, I see your meaning now. But God got me back from my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat.
Oh no, Raleigh. That was all my fault. I should have never dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Raleigh. And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from the one side of the road to the other in total?
4 it was. Yes, definitely 4.
3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsumi, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garrett household, of course. But what made you place that book in the victim's hand when all the others were scattered around? I mean.
Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it.
How you found it? What do you mean?
When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, I moved everything. I made sure it was still in her hand.
You're sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, the victim was hiding?
Oh, yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir.
Interesting. The fourth book. A book entitled The Lion's Pride. That book was the victim's hand, and Mrs. Beat first ran over to see what happened.
I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see. There were only 2 people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However, which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who did it, who done it, I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is for me now. I've had it.
My lord.
Yes, Lord Ansix.
I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Prosecutor, sir? What will become of my Raleigh? What will happen to him? For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course. Please, don't punish my husband. His was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late.
Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired.
All right then, my love. One last thing, Constable.
Sir!
Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you.
Yes, sir.
Carve that lesson into your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of the crime.
Never again, sir. You mean to say...
Leave now. This trial is not over yet.
Sir!
Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Well, thought of a third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that. Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there was some immutable facts here, primarily. That the accused, Mr. Sosaki Natsumi, is the only person who could possibly have committed this crime.
Objection!
No, I disagree. Now that we know that the true scene of the incident there is someone else, another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already.
Lord Van Zix, is this true?
Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing.
You will name this other person who could have perpetrated the crime.
Take that!
The defense would once again like to request the cross-examination of a new witness, my lord.
Once again?
My assistant made the same request earlier. In order to finally reveal the truth about this case. It's imperative that we cross-examine juror number 4, Mrs. Joan Gerdab. Me? Oh, dearie me.
Objection!
That request has already been denied.
Objection!
But the situation is very different now. Mrs. Gerdab, answer me this. What do you want now, you little toad? At the time of the incident, you were engaged in a violent argument with your husband, Mr. John Gerdab. In the course of the argument, a minor house fire was ignited. To clear the smoke from the room, your husband opened a window that looks out over Bear Road. Well, what of it? You threw this book at your husband when he was cornered with his back against the window. Upon striking the pane on the open hinged casement window, the book plummeted directly down, finding its way to what we know to be the true scene of the incident.
Yes, and I said what of it?
During the arguments, you were beside yourself with rage. As such, you threw not just books, but anything you could lay your hands on. So, let me ask you one more time, Mrs. Gerdab. The knife, the one removed from the victim's back. Have you really never laid eyes on it before? I don't recall it. Seriously? Am I supposed to remember everything I picked up and threw at my husband? And anyway, the man over there in all that regalia said members of the jury needn't testify, didn't he? Conveniently, yes.
Objection!
No. I have no recollection of saying that at all, juror number 5. Who? Make no mistake. You jurors are not special in any way. You are not immune to the judicial process. If you know something about this knife, madame, let the truth come out. But, it was just a common, or a garden knife. It couldn't have come from anywhere. We have several like that at home. If one went missing, how would you expect me to know? What's that? You joking? What are you saying? Please, Mrs. Gerdab. Listen to me. I refuse to believe all this nonsense. I couldn't bear the thought that I'd injured someone. Do you hear me? I couldn't bear it. Oh, the poor woman. So yes, I want evidence. I want to see hard evidence. You're going to insist on this being my fault. You're going to have to prove to me that I threw that knife if that's what you think. Come along now, chop chop. Do your worst. Well, Mr. Narundo, if I had evidence like that, believe me, I would have thrown it at her already. Then take the stand, juror. Oh. The prosecution does not object to the defense's request to cross-examine this woman. Thank you, Lord Van Zieks. I'm going to have to testify.
Juror number 4, as I'm sure you will appreciate having observed it with your own eyes today. Witness testimony can lead to the most extraordinary truths being unearthed. Truths of which the witnesses themselves may not even have been aware. Oh, dearie me. So I demand your full and unadulterated testimony, Mrs. Gerdab. And mark my words, in this court of law today, we shall extract the truth. Do you concur, Consuls?
Certainly, my lord.
Oh,
That's what I'm hoping for, my lord. Things are actually swinging our way. This is such a strange feeling. For the first time since arriving in this country, it actually feels real. I'm here, in the Old Bailey, and I'm a lawyer. Witness, state your name and occupation.
Oh, yes, my name is Joan Gerdab.
And I'm, well,
I'm a juror and such like.
sounds like even she doesn't know if she's a housewife or a maid, or what anymore.
The court has decided your testimony is required in order to clarify matters in this case. Do you understand, madame?
Yes, my lord. You will tell the court everything that took place in your household on the evening in question. And I warn you, do not attempt to hide the truth.
Oh, dearie me. Shut up, Journey. Nothing to worry about now.
I knew it.
Oh, I didn't know you were here, Sean. Wasn't only you in the room that day? Wasn't you only in the room that day? Old thing, was it? Rather, I think I ought to testify as well, don't you? But what about your knee, dear? Don't worry about that. I hardly noticed it. I'm not the sort of chap to leave a comrade to face disciplinary action alone. Oh, John. I presume you are Mr. John Gerdab. Yes, sir. Former second lieutenant of the third requirement of the 4th,
Northumberland
Forestals, sir. Seen my fair share of action, and now living in the quiet life as it were.
A quiet life. Were you not engaged in inquiry battle with your spouse on the day in question?
Ah, well, yes, quite. I believe this may represent a first in the proud history of the British court. Calling a juror to the witness's stand is unprecedented. However, the court will hear your testimony now, juror number 4, and that of your husband. You recount clearly and concisely the events in your home at the time of the incident in question. Sir, at once.
Oh boy. How long have I been streaming for? Almost 3 hours. I'll just save here, and we'll leave it for next time. Did I save? Just double checking. Thank you all for watching.